Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
And there are brave souls here in the sanctuary that have ventured out when it's just a little bit chilly, 1 degree. But they say that wind chill factor is at 30. I don't think so. I don't think it's quite that cold today.
Don't pay attention to the wind chill factor. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares about
We never had one.
So I had a dilemma this week, and I'm doing something today I've never done in 20 years of being a minister. So I almost finished my talk for today, which was about seeing through the eyes of love, and that's through the eyes of God, God's eyes. And then it dawned on me that Lent was starting this week. And I thought, well, I should really be talking about Lent, so what do I do now? I said, I know, I'll do 2 talks in one Sunday. And you're going, oh my God, no, how are we going to ever get out of here? So what I did was a very short little dissertation on Lent, and then we'll start our service as normal, and then I'll do through the eyes of love. And I just want to keep you guys on your toes, so. Anyhow, that's what we're going to do today. Never say that you never know what's going to happen when I'm here. So anyhow, we do know that we are entering the Lent season, and that Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, of course. And I always have this thing about where did this giving up something for 40 days come from? And what about the sacrifice? Like, how could you be making a sacrifice of giving up chocolate or cursing, and when you're going to do it again after the 40 days are over? So it never quite made sense to me, right? But here's the surprise about all of this. Did you guys know that Lent is not a scripturally based religious holiday? Mm-hmm. Well, you did know. Did you know? Let's see how many know. No?
I know.
1 yes, 1, 2 no's, 2 no's, 3 no's. Okay, so and then I was thinking about Jesus and all of this, and I don't remember Jesus giving up anything other than God love him his life, but the rest of the time Jesus gave to. He didn't take from, he gave to. So then what's Lent? Lent is the Christian community. It's a season of prayer and fasting, and we know that, and it represents those 40 days before the resurrection. But it was never originally a Christian holiday. Who knows what holiday it was?
Oh God, you had to ask that.
Well, it's simple. The minute I say it, you're going to know exactly what it is. It was a pagan holiday.
Okay.
Pagan holiday, because Lent, the word Lent is for lecton, which actually means spring. And the pagans who worshipped Mother Nature and worshipped spring are the ones that were celebrating, and that's where it came from. And the actual 40 days I found was borrowed from the worshippers of Babylonian goddess Tammuz, and Tammuz was called the Queen of Heaven, or the fertility goddess. So the institution of the season of Lent then was instituted by mainstream Christianity in order to counterfeit and replace Passover. So the lure of the pagans and the Gentiles from the celebration of Passover, Lent became a Christian holiday. And look how smart you guys are all now. You are going to know this, and when you get that $1 million question, you're going to win the $1 million. So, but Lent was never observed by Jesus or the apostles. So what is it then? What is it for? It's a time to commune with God quietly and inwardly. So I feel there's no need to make public displays and pronouncements like, I can't have beer, I gave it up for Lent. To me, that just doesn't cut it for me. So if one really wanted to be with God and to honor the one he chose to give his life, wouldn't it be better to do it by giving to something or giving up something as in fear or scarcity? How about 40 days donating time with children and volunteering. How about 40 days I will love God with all my heart and soul and love my neighbors as myself? What about 40 days of keeping a list of all things we're thankful for and bless God for each gift that we have? What about 40 days of giving up judgment and prejudice? 40 days of reading spiritually based books? Get the picture? Kind of get the picture now? So what I'm trying to draw in your mind then, that, how weird, God's calling is that letting go of something deeper than beer is letting go of greed, letting go of anger, letting go of hatred, resentment. Because if you could do that for 40 days, it creates a habit. You need 21 days or 28 days to create a new habit. So if you were to give up greed, anger, hatred, resentment for 40 days, you would create a new habit. Wow, that's really something to aspire for. So in unity then, Lent reminds us if we have cycles in our lives, then when old ways die, they have to make room for new ways. And these cycles then will bring us to the consciousness and understanding of what no longer serves us. And then we discover a new way of living. What a beautiful thing. Think about it, where we are with everything going on and the winter and the cold. 40 days, we're going to be out of this. And look at all the good you can do for yourself or for somebody else within that 40 days. And I think that that's priceless, actually. So that's basically what I wanted to say. So I'm challenging myself, and my 40 days is honoring, I'm into today's day 3, I already started, honoring the temple of God and what I put into it. So I'm honoring, and yesterday and the day before went back on basically plant-based diet, which actually works better for me and I feel better with that. But if I truly believe that this outer shell is housing God, my soul, then I need to take better care of it. And if we all do that, then we feel better, we look better, and we're healthier and happier. So that's what I wanted to talk about with Lent. Anybody up for the challenge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know Jules will say 6. Yeah. So anyhow, so that's my little short dissertation today on Lent. And now we'll open with our opening song. And Josh, bring in the choir and the band, please.
Life is not about heartbreak or hunger or need. It's not about sacrifice that leaves us to be. There's something more important that we're born to know. 'Cause whatever we do and wherever we go, it's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Love is the miracle of a newborn child. Love is that someone makes your heart go wild. But however you feel it, it's all the same thing. It's a spirit spirit within you that makes you want to sing. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills it up. It's all about love. So when the world is overflowing with pain, when you don't remember the sky without rain, just hold on, help is on the way, bringing a perfect new world, a bright new day. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills it up. It's all about Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love.
Indeed it is. And our vision and mission at Unity Spiritual Center is a spiritual community of love, peace, and acceptance, creating an exclusive spiritual community through fellowship, service, and community outreach. And now I would like to ask Tom Hoiber to read our daily word, Light the Christ Candle, and Light the Flames of Faith. But Tom has a special announcement today he'd like to make.
Thank you, Reverend Aubrey Lynn. I'm here to read the daily word, and of course the word for today is love, being Valentine's Day. And the daily word for today is from February 14th, but it's from the archives that Aubrey Lynn found to be especially poignant for today. It's from 1945. I make love my aim and earnestly desire spiritual gifts. St. Valentine's Day is a sentimental holiday, but behind it is a strong spiritual idea, the idea of love. So this is a good day to think about the real meaning of love. One of the finest definitions of love ever given is found in one of Paul's letters to the Corinthians. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecy, it will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For our knowledge is imperfect, and our prophecy is imperfect. But when the perfect is come, the imperfect will pass away. Now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. So faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. And first, from 1 Corinthians 14:1, make love your aim and earnestly desire the spiritual gift. And we light the Christ candle today again as a reminder of that love that is within us, in which we can share with all whom we meet.
And as we begin the flames of faith, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Tom lights the first candle, we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the last candle that we light is the candle for all those who are yet unaware of the power and the presence of spirit in their lives, for the space that we are holding for them here in this center, and for all of the religions unnamed in this ceremony. Thank you, Tom.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can brighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now.
And now, talk number 2. Okay, so through the eyes of love. So Leo Tolstoy wrote, the most difficult thing, but an essential one, is to love life, to love it even while one suffers, because life is all. Life is God, and to love life means to love God. You know, so many times I hear people say, if God is all love and God is love, why are there bad things in the world? And I answer back, because we do not love all life. And perhaps we do not love that which is God. However, that's a much deeper talk on why the bad things happen to good people. So I decided to do that in a whole another talk on another day. So, but true love, absolute true love, is connecting with the God self of all creation. Loving yourself is connected with God. It is easy to blame others and the spirit, whatever you choose to call it, rather than asking, why am I contributing to the negative or positive flow of life? More so, why am I contributing to the negative or positive flow of my life? So you don't have to raise your hand for this, but here's 2 questions for you. How many of you truly love God is one question I want you to ponder. And how many of you truly love yourself? Another question. So my question is, does God delight you? Does God want to make you sing? You know, this morning, talk about how divine ideas just are handed to you, and how we say, oh, I could never do that, and you push it away, and there's so many. How many thoughts a day? So today, this morning, on Saturday and Sunday morning, I never ever put the TV on. That's a rule. No news, no, none of that stuff. I don't even want to hear Lawrence Welch singing. I have to cross that yesterday. I got, oh my God, turn that off. But anyhow, so on Saturday and Sunday morning, I have my coffee and my blankie. Of course, you have to feed the cat first. And then I crawl up in my couch in the living room and look out at, of course, the river. You can't see it right now, but all the snow and whatever. And there is this one rabbit that lives in this bush that's about yay high. And so this morning I was sitting there and I went, like, where's the rabbit? And all of a sudden it just pops up. So like when I say, does God still delight you? That I was like, oh, there it is. And then this idea hit, Renee, you need to be listening. This idea hit about the lone rabbit, and that I could write another, after we finish this series of book, I could write a book. So in that instant, God gave me the rabbit, a wonderful idea, inspiration, and in my mind, I already started writing the story. So there's so much at our fingertips if we just open up to it. and accept it. So from 7 to 7:30 this morning, I had all of this, prayers. I got my rabbit, got a name for the book. It's called The Lone Rabbit. And so it's important. So it's like the greater the power that dines to serve you, the more honor it demands of you. And that's what happened this morning. There's this power and it served me, but it's demanding more of me. If I believe, if I walk my talk, which I really try to do 99% of the time, I do, or maybe 95, but anyhow, you know, so, but the great, Socrates is the one who said this, not me, the greater the power that deigns to serve you, the more honor it demands of you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you see life then through the eyes of love, God, your higher self, one has to be dancing with the beloved because your heart just opens so wide that only joy can exude from it, like this song. Only, love, that's my decision. When is it your decision? Not when it's convenient, not when something great is happening to you or for you, but all the time. When is God's my decision all the time? So what blocks us from getting there? That's the question. What is the block? What is the thing that's stopping you? Why won't your heart just open up? And one of the biggest stumbling blocks for me in my own personal life, and what I have experienced in counseling for 20 years, is the inability to forgive. That's it, the inability to forgive. So you say to me, I just can't forgive so-and-so for that. There's the block. There's the stoppage. There's what's closing your heart. So the first thing I'm going to say to you then is things that you speak of with passion and with conviction becomes your prayer. So your prayer automatically becomes your reality. So you were right. You cannot forgive because you're saying it with so much anger and so much passion. You've embodied it for so long that you're right. You can't forgive. Each time you say those words, you demonstrate that there is no forgiveness in your heart for that person, for that situation. Wow. It's a lot, right? And the universal intelligence always gives to us that which we believe and hold in our hearts. See how easy it is to get stuck with that block? Walt Whitman sums up clearly what I'm trying to say. Great is this thought, I, greater than all else. Greater than all us. Every time you say, I can't, I won't, that's a prayer. Remember that. I can't, I won't. It's a prayer. Is this not our teaching? Thoughts are things, right? How many times have you said it? I've said it. Reverend Ginny has said it. Every minister up here has said it. Thoughts are things. And did the great master not teach us? It's done unto you as you believe. It's done unto you as you believe. So how many of you either have to always prove your point, or know people who absolutely have to be right and will go to their deathbed still holding on to hatred and grudges? Yeah. I'm reading, it's a historical novel about Jane Austen, and in there's this miserable father, and to his deathbed he kept the anger, the hate, the disbelief. And what does it do? What does it do for you? So my question is, would you rather be right or happy? You know me enough to know I personally would rather be happy than right. I'm done with all of that little stuff. So when you allow yourself then to go back in your mind and see things through the eyes of love, the spiritual eyes of God, you can't hold on to anger and hate. You can't love and hate at the same time. It's impossible. Think about that. You can't hate and love at the same time. So what do you choose? Love, of course, the love of God. See through the eyes of love. It's that, you remember a while back it was always, what would Jesus do? It's the same thing. What would Jesus do? See through the eyes of love. So the more you dwell on yesterday, the more power you give to the situation. So instead of diffusing and releasing, you end up putting fire under a hot situation. You just keep it, what do you call when the coals are just doing those ember things, in the thing, right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, good. So it takes willingness to have a positive influence on yourself. Willingness. Only you have the ability to make changes in your life and allow yourself to live in peace and harmony. I know this is a tough, I don't like to call this a religion. It's a teaching, it's a philosophy, it's a way of life, and it's tough because the responsibility lies within ourselves. But as you forgive, you open the way to new and fulfilling opportunities of growth and potential to experience your life with a new, clear vision. Wow. Forgiveness has to begin in your own heart space. So, there's a principle of divine givingness. We know that, right? But there's also a principle of divine forgivingness. And if this were not true, then we would never be able to transcend limitation of previous mistakes. And that's the key. That's the key, my friends. We want to transcend and move on. And who are you hurting most of all when you don't forgive? Yourself. Me, right? So before you can forgive others and move on with your life, we must move past that which we hold against ourselves, and we are the worst judge and jury in the whole world. The worst. But when we can move into that realm of spiritual forgiveness, we move away from the concept of sin and understanding that we only have made a mistake. The forgiveness comes from the acknowledgement of the fact that we have to take steps just to correct the mistake. That's all. And when we get into trouble with ourselves, it's because we can't admit the mistake we've made. We're just not willing to admit it. We don't have what it takes to confront ourselves. And then the other person and people, and they ask for their understanding of what just happened. Nobody knows. It's like, when I do forgiveness work, it's like you've created a story. So here's the story you created. Now, how much of that story is truth? How much of that story is built on anger? And how much of that story are you willing to turn around and look at and reframe and see it's not that big deal at all? It's not about what they did to me. It's about how I perceived what happened. And maybe my perception could be off a little bit. And a lot of times it is. And there's so many people, and I'm sure in your families you know this, whose hearts are so heavy with guilt or shame for such little things. So give yourself a break, all of you guys. Give yourself a break. Let it go. Risk it. Walk out into that spiritual sunshine and take a deep spiritual breath of God. Do that with me. Just take a breath. Deep spiritual breath of God's love. So there are two things I invite you to do this week. One, I'd like you to take a look into your spiritual closet and be willing to clean out all those so-called mistakes that you have hanging neatly in a row. You got the year you did it, what you did, and I'm going to hang on to that one. And if it's like me, it'll have to be matching hangers. We all know that. So they're all hanging in a row, right? So I want you to say that they prove by keeping them there, right? Think of all the new clothes you could buy to get rid of them. You have to prove how awful you are. Oh my God, yeah, look at this much in my closet, my mistakes. Once that space is cleared out, know that only love can enter now. Wow, only love is my decision. And the second thing you need to do, now this is really important, go to your guest closet and release all those people that you have hanging there and you're holding in bondage. Yeah, right? It's time to let go of the hurt, the anger, and once and for all, let them go too. Make sense? Yeah. Now I ask you this. Is there someone in your life that you need to forgive, or is there someone who is hurting because you will not allow them to release hurt and anger? So if the shoe were on the other foot, can you walk a mile in that person's shoe and have some empathy, compassion? Could you? See, forgiveness doesn't always mean that you have to be in contact with that particular person. It could also be somebody that's already gone on and passed and left Earth. And you don't have to resume a relationship with that person. It means you bring closure to a situation and move on. That's what it means. That's all it means. And don't misunderstand me. Forgiveness doesn't condone negative actions. I mean, just if someone's done something really bad, you're not condoning it because you're forgiving, nor does it make you a pushover or open doors to hurt again. What it does, it allows to let you see things from a different perspective. That's all. Through the eyes of love, the eyes of God. So today I ask you to give thanks for the healing power of forgiveness and be ever grateful for the principle of divine forgiveness and release. That's all. Can you do that? Give thanks for the healing power of forgiveness. Be ever grateful for the divine principle of forgiveness and release yourself and others. Because if you do this, you will have brighter days and peaceful rest and better times, and I know it because I walk it, I talk it, I live it, I've done it. And I know for myself that we can be free to live in a world of harmony. And what a load is dropped from your shoulders of personal responsibility when you realize that the eternal mind, God's Spirit, the Holy Mother, holds nothing against you. Do you know that that was the most freeing thing that I heard that brought me into this teaching? Was the first time that I went to a religious science church and the minister said, God holds nothing against you. I didn't know that. Because I grew up in a house where everything you did, God was punishing you. So when you get that, but I will tell you from that day forward, I never left this teaching. Never left it. Just from someone telling me that God holds nothing against me. God holds nothing against any one of you in this room or any one of you that are listening on live streaming this morning. Because every person that you encounter in your life has a golden gift to give. Every person. And only sometimes the gold is disguised as in the golden Buddha. You guys all know that story of the golden Buddha, right? They didn't want the whomevers to come and take it, so they covered it all in clay, and it stayed that way for years and years, and then it got chipped, and someone looked and And then they started chipping away and it was all gold. It was all gold, the golden Buddha. So sometimes the gold does come in a disguise. So while you may not always like what's happening in your life, look through and find the mythical part of gold, the spiritual gift at the closure of each chapter of your life. Can you do that? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to think about that? It's a lot to think about. And it works right in with the 40 days of Lent. Giving, not taking away, giving something to yourself. Giving 40 days of love, 40 days of caring, 40 days of healing, 40 days make a new habit. So as we go into meditation today, just take a deep breath. Breathe in God's love. Breathe it in, hold it, breathe it in and hold it, hold it, hold it. And breathe out peace. And ask yourself these questions. Do I truly love God? Do I truly love myself? What am I willing to do? What am I willing to absolutely commit to this morning? For the next 40 days. And the tougher question is, will I keep my word to myself? And think of the last time. When was the last time you were delighted in God? When is the last time you danced with the beloved? So as this week and the next few weeks go by, can your every day be a pledge to yourself to see through the eyes of love, through the eyes of God? And when you're ready and comfortable and at peace, slowly, gently come back to this environment.
we only have love, then tomorrow will dawn, and the days of our years will rise on that morn. If we only have love to embrace without fears, we will kiss with our eyes, we will sleep without tears. If we only have love, with our arms open wide, then the young and the old will stand at our side. If we only have love, love that's falling like rain, and the parched desert earth will grow green again. If we only have love for the hymn that we shout, for the song that we sing, then we have a way out. If we only have love, we can reach those in pain. We can heal all our wounds. We can use our own names. If we only have love, we can melt all the guns and then give the new world to our daughters and sons. If we only have love, then Jerusalem stands, and the death has no shadow. There are no foreign lands. If we only have love, we will never have love. We'll be tall as the pines, neither heroes nor clowns. If we only have love, then we'll only be men, and we'll drink from the bread till we born once again. Then with nothing at all, but the little we are, we'll have conquered all time, all space, the sun, and the
That song makes me cry. It gives me God bumps. It gives me hope. It's just one of the most beautiful songs. I can picture, I'm going to suggest it to Unity, that for the closing song for our conference, when we're all together, can you just imagine a huge room of people singing this song? We only have love. Yeah, wow. And our offertory prayer, if I can come back. The love of God inspires me to give in a spirit of generosity. I give with love and joy to ensure the growth of this ministry and of this Unity Center. And so it is.
Thank you, God.
And those of you who have been waiting for your tax letters, I'm sorry they're a little bit late. They should be here Tuesday or Wednesday, and Jules and I will get them out to you as quickly as possible, knowing that she probably has all the labels already ready and the envelopes piled. It won't be a hardship for us to do that. We'll do that together. Announcements. Okay, so Thank you. The little cards on your chairs today were from Jules. So thank you, Jules, for doing that. That was very sweet. And also, I want to thank so many of you sent me cards in the mail. It was like, I thought it was Christmas. Friday up, and I see all Friday in the mail, and I said, oh, these cards. And they were from one of my friends in New York, but the rest of them were all from you. So thank you so much. They too brought tears in my eyes for the nice things that you guys wrote on them. So thank you for doing that also. And I can find announcements in here somewhere.
It's a blue sheet.
It's the blue sheet. It's the blue hard cover. Ah, blue. That's smart, Jules. There we go. It says it's happening here. Announcements. It was recently discovered that the Daily Word line was not working. It's now repaired, and you can call for reading once again. And you guys know that Tom Clever does that, and he's been doing that for 30 years, and that's just an amazing thing, Tom. So amazing, and so thank you. So thank you so much. And I have a very special announcement. So book one that Renee and I wrote was in the Rainbow News. Rainbow is helps children that are in harm's way, and they featured us in their thing, 20-year review of Rainbow, guiding our youth through the storms of life, and they put a whole feature in there for our book, which was so exciting. And we're excited because this went out to 11,000 readers. So who knows what could happen from there. So that's very exciting. And more exciting than that is book 2 is printed. Book 2 is printed. So I'm kidding, I'm going to start writing book 3. So we're very excited. And book 2 is Gratitude and Change. And so again, we did that. And Renee has a new puppy, and that puppy's name is Cooper. So in book 3, we're going to let the kids get a puppy, and the puppy's name will be Cooper. I think book 4 will have to put my cat Mitty in there. So if you're listening, Renee, that's what we want to do. So anyhow, we have the books up there, and I just wanted to share that with you because we're so proud of all that. So anybody have anything else they'd like to share, mention, talk about? Anything? Y'all good? Y'all good out there? Y'all good. All right. Then let us stand. Let's let us stand and do our closing song, prayer of protection, and our closing prayer.
Well, have you ever felt as if your life was overwhelmed by all the pressures that surround you, and all the stresses that have bound you? Well, now don't you hide your light. Take a chance and open wide. You will be the change. You will be the change. You will be the change that you want to see in the world. The change. You be the change. You be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, have you ever thought that you are powerless and flawed? Have you questioned who am I? What can I do with once in my life? Well, don't you hide your light. Bring it forth and open wide. And you will be the change. You will be the change. You will be the change that you want to see, and the world will change. You be the change. You be the change that you want to see in the world. Together Sing it loud and raise your hands. As we sing, we'll start to shine. We'll become a nation made of fire. We will be the change. We will be the change. We will be the change that we wanna see. And the world will change. We be the change. We be the change that we wanna see. And the world will change. We be the change. We be the change that we wanna see. And the world will change. We be the change. We be the change that we wanna see. In the
In our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we leave here today, we remember in consciousness that there is just one power, one presence everywhere, and we are that child, that beautiful part of the ocean, of the flowers, of the trees. Each part we are in and through and with. And we see through the eyes of love. We see through the eyes of God. And we honor ourselves this day of love, this Valentine's Day. And we honor who we are and praise who we are and rejoice in our life. We live in gratitude and for the blessings of all that we have. Each one going home to a house with food and warmth and clothing, and some with family members that are waiting to greet us. So we lift up our spirits, we lift up our minds, we open our hearts, and we just love. Love life, love the world, love each other, love God. And I just release this, sending it out into the universe, knowing that it is already done before these words were ever spoken. And together we say together, and so it is.
Amen. And it is done.
Thank you all. Have a happy Valentine's Day. Be kind to one another. Go buy flowers, candy, love. But most of all, be kind and gentle. See you next week, right here, same place, same time.